10.3 area of triangles. We're going to discuss a little bit from 10.2, but we're really skipping that lesson. 10.2 and 10.3 are kind of the same thing. And just as we would have done in regular school, we would have kind of combined them and just called this 10.3. So that's why it's 10.3, not 10.2. You didn't miss anything. All right, first up, any parallelogram can be divided into two congruent triangles. We learned what a parallelogram was last time. It's just a four-sided polygon that has pairs of parallel sides that are opposite from each other. So that could be a square, that could be a square, a rectangle, or just a regular parallelogram. The area of each triangle is half the area of the parallelogram. So the area of a triangle is half the product of its base and its height. So here is a parallelogram that you remember from last time. This blue line represents us cutting the parallelogram in half diagonally from one corner to its opposite corner. And now you see that we have a triangle and another triangle, and the two triangles here are congruent to each other. So the reason I'm showing you that is because the area formula of a triangle is A equals 1/2 BH. The B stands for base, the H stands for height. So this is where the 1/2 comes in. The 1/2 represents this, showing you that it's half of some sort of parallelogram. And the half, I got to be honest with you, is the thing that kids forget most often. We forget to multiply by 1/2. So hopefully this visual sticks in your brain. And here's a couple more visuals. You got your basic rectangle that has been cut in half. You have more of a tall, skinny rectangle cut in half. You have a parallelogram cut in half. You have a taller parallelogram cut in half. And then you have a square cut in half. So as you can see, half of any one of these parallelograms makes a nice, beautiful triangle. And that's where the 1/2 comes from in our formula. Don't you forget it. Sherpa Zeke moment. All right, the Flatiron Building in New York is well known for its unusual shape. There is a picture of it. Maybe you have seen it in real life. Maybe you've seen it on movies. I would actually say when this is all over, you should Google it and check it out on Google Maps and look at it from street view. It's pretty cool. It's a cool building. The building was designed to fit the triangular plot of land formed by 22nd Street, Broadway, and Fifth Avenue. The diagram shows the dimensions of the triangular foundation of the building. What is the area of the triangle? So this is the foundation of this building. It would be kind of like if you look down at Google Maps, if you're looking from the top down. So this is what it looks like. Your base is 190. Your height is 79. You can always know your base and your height of a triangle because most of the time it's going to be the two things that they give you. It's kind of obvious. But if it's not obvious, if they give you multiple numbers, you'll know what the base and height are because they always come together and form a right angle. And sometimes that height is measured with a dotted line because we need a line that is perpendicular to the base to measure the height. This line and this line mean nothing. So that's why they didn't even bother giving you those measurements. So on your paper, hopefully you have a piece of notebook paper. If not, go fetch one. Calculator is a good idea too. On your paper, this is what you got to write down. First and foremost, you write down your formula. A equals 1/2 BH. Next up, we're substituting values. Now, I used X here. I know we said X was kind of a no-no. But to be honest with you, on the computer, it's just so much easier to type a lowercase x than it is to find the floating dot or use some other thing for multiplication. So these x's stand for multiplication. Forgive me. So this is 190. This is 79. That's your base. That's your height. If you have a calculator that has the ability to, like Kitty or the Texas Instruments Blue TI-15 that we had in school, you could actually type all of this in at one shot and hit equals, and it'll give you your answer, your area, your 7,505 feet squared. Some calculators don't allow for multiple functions in one shot. So what I always recommend is take the base and the height, multiply them first, and you get 15,010. Then multiply that by 1/2. Then you get 7,505. So if you can do this all at once on your calculator. And I would say definitely use a calculator here. You could use pencil and paper, but I'm telling you, in geometry, you're going to use calculator for the rest of your time in school, so you might as well use it. And then remember, if you don't have fraction functionality on your calculator, you can do 0.5 here. And we also talked about this many other times. Multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2. So actually, if you want, on your calculator right now, you can test this out. You could do 190 times 79. You get 15,010. And then take 15,010 and divide by 2. And that should give you this same answer. So dividing by 2 is also an option as well. You just got to make sure if you divide by 2, you got to do that at the end. Like you would have to multiply these two things first, then divide this number by 2. Otherwise, your answer is going to be a little messed up. All right, that's your basic triangle area formula.